Freeze, dirtbag! Hey, it's Peter here, and I'm going to show you how to build a LaserTap laser target pistol. Now, LaserTap is just a name that I came up with for these things because it kind of taps a target with a laser and tells you whether you would have hit it or not. Now, this looks like a Nintendo Duck Hunt controller or Zapper because it started life as one. I needed something that felt like a gun, but that had an electronic switch. And so I gutted it, and I put some really simple electronics in there. Now when you pull the trigger, it pulses this laser, and you get a nice dot that lasts for just a fraction of a second. I'm going to take you through the steps on how to build this thing. Basically what you're going to need is a Nintendo Zapper, a laser diode, a 9-volt battery and battery clip, a 10 microfarad electrolytic capacitor, some various wires, a soldering kit, and a hot melt glue gun. And that's all you really need to build one of these things. You can do it in an hour or two. It's pretty easy.
So, how do you wire up your LaserTap pistol? Well, it's a very simple circuit. Basically, if you look at this representation here, you have a 9-volt battery. Here's the negative, here's the positive. And you have a 10 microfarad electrolytic capacitor. You have a laser diode. And you have a single pole double throw switch. Now when the normally closed part of the switch is connected, you're going to be charging this capacitor here. And it takes, a fraction of a second, like really hardly any time at all to charge this capacitor. When you depress the trigger, it goes to the normally open connection, and that disconnects the capacitor from the battery while simultaneously connecting the capacitor to the laser diode. Now normally you would want to have some kind of resistor in here to prevent the laser diode from being damaged by the excessive current. However, I've found that the laser diode has a resistance of about 150 ohms, and with the 2-volt voltage drop from 9 volts, you're left with about 7 volts over 150 ohms. By my calculations, the thing should be putting out about 326 milliwatts for just a small fraction of a second. I've built a handful of these things, probably 10 of them or something, and none of them have broken yet. So if you're paranoid, just go ahead and put a resistor in there in series with your laser diode, and that will lower the current. So if you see how I've wired this up, you've got your battery, which is going to sit over here in this compartment. You've got your laser diode. You've got your single pole double throw switch, which is built into the Nintendo controller. You've got your electrolytic cap. Now this is the positive terminal, which is connected to the center pole of your switch. Your battery's positive terminal is connected to the rear or normally closed part of the switch, and your laser positive terminal is connected to the normally open or front part of this particular switch. Right now it's charging. When you press the trigger, it dumps all that current through that diode, and you get a really bright pulse of laser light for a small fraction of a second. So that's how the battery sits in here. It's right in this part here. So you just want to make sure all your wires are clearing the various holes and the seams of this thing, and then you're just going to go ahead and reassemble it. Now that all your electronics are wired up, you can go ahead and put your screws back in, and the only remaining thing left to do will be to mount this laser. Now go ahead and push as much of the wire inside the body of this thing as you can, leaving maybe an inch or so left sticking out. And then we're going to use the groove formed between the barrel and the underlug as a sort of alignment bracket for the laser. It's just going to sit on there like that. right in that corner. Now we're just going to go ahead and squirt a little hot melt glue onto the underlug, and we're going to go ahead and stick the laser in place. And very quickly we're going to check to see whether our point of aim is where we want it to be or not. If it isn't, we want to quickly remove the thing and reposition it. So once you've really globbed on that hot melt glue, that thing ain't going nowhere. So it actually makes for quite a secure mount. And you got yourself a nice little laser pistol.